Hey everybody. Wow. Wow. What a time to be alive, right? Oh my goodness. So this is episode 6 of season 2 of the Passion and Persistence podcast, and I'm really happy to be back doing this. I took quite a long hiatus from all of this for quite a while since this whole pandemic thing started. It took me some time to process it. I'm not going to lie about that. And I think that I've witnessed a lot of people still pushing through this as if nothing's happening. This is a crazy time in history because the world as we know it is about to change. And, this isn't the topic of this podcast episode at all, actually, but I did not feel comfortable posting this episode without taking time to talk on what's happening currently in the world. And I wasn't ready to talk about it yet. I was still going through so many emotions, processing it in so many different stages. And I didn't want to push myself through that. I really just wanted to sit and absorb and understand what was happening, think about it, strategize, and just observe. That's something that I need for self-growth and evolution. And I think it's something that everybody should take the time to go through rather than pushing yourself as if this just isn't happening. That is silly. And you're missing, like I said, a huge opportunity to grow from this and really maybe even refocus. So I'm sitting at home in St. Petersburg, Florida. My son is home from school because all of everything that's happening, obviously. So you may hear him in the background while I'm recording this. He's playing Fortnite actually because, hey, that's what I have to allow him to do so that sometimes I can get stuff done. It is what it is. But so I'm really excited to be back. I want to talk briefly about all of the emotions I felt going into all this craziness that's happening with the coronavirus and with the shutdown of all the restaurants. So as of some of you may know, or maybe some of you don't know, I am a restaurant branding specialist. 90% of my clients are restaurants and bars. And when they all had to close their doors, my heart was racing. I was sad. I was scared. I was uncertain of the future for both their business and mine. Their businesses are like my business, and I cannot survive without them. So it was really scary when I got the news that all the restaurants had to close. And then we started strategizing. The initial fear led to fire, and we were like, okay, how are we going to survive this? And I say, okay, I'm talking about with my clients. I'm having this conversation. Sorry. So anyways, we strategized. We all came up with plans and promotions and marketing things to keep them all afloat online and keep their doors open in the future. So that whole process took a lot of energy and time and focus away from everything that I was doing online. Now I had to give everything I had to these restaurants and bars to keep them alive. Because again, my company will not survive if their companies don't survive. And their businesses are like my little babies. So that took a lot of time and energy. And so I fell off of social media for a while because I wanted to give them all the time and energy. And then I started thinking of my own business after all of my energy and strategizing was placed on theirs. I sat back and thought, am I in the right field? Should I be focusing on restaurants and bars? Now, the reason I do focus on restaurants and bars is because I grew up in that industry. My parents were both chefs. My dad loves food and cooking, and he loves creating an experience with the food. And he had his own restaurant when we were little. And I grew up working in restaurants as a teenager into my adulthood, as a server, a bartender, a hostess, all of the above. So I had this strong connection to the restaurant industry, and I had a background in marketing and design. So I fused the two to focus on marketing and design for restaurants. It made sense, right? And now after all this is happening, it seemed like the walls are crumbling down. I had to start asking myself those hard questions like, should I refocus this company? And the answer that I came to after long deliberation was that no, I'm not in the wrong field. I am exactly where I'm meant to be, exactly where my heart was called to take me for my company and to help other companies get through these times. So what I did was I waived all my fees to my clients. I said, listen, you guys do not have to pay me this month, but I'm going to do everything that I can to still be there for you. And I'm not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We're in this together. So long story short, I now have a very clear image and purpose for who I am as a person personally, and who my company is as a business to help these restaurants get through these times. And I'm very thankful for this opportunity. So that's that. And then on a personal level, I just did my own like soul searching and chill out time through all of this. And it was necessary, it was needed. So with all that being said, I'm back. We're back. Passion and Persistence is back. And I'm glad that I allowed myself to get through that time on my own time. And I hope that you are doing the same. Do not feel pressured. Do not feel rushed to work through these times how everyone else is telling you to do it. You know you better than anyone else knows you, and you know exactly what you need to do to recoup, to rejuvenate, to refocus your energy on the right things during these times. So do you, boo-boo. So let me do a little intro to the episode you're about to watch. We sat down with one of the founders of Rock's moving company, Dylan, and we talked a little bit with him about creating his company, creating lasting connections as a business owner, and connecting and networking with the right people in the right industry to get your business to where it needs to go and help other businesses get to where they need to go. So without further ado, I want you to absorb all of the value from this episode. If you want to get out paper and pen, take some notes, please do so. Make sure you tell your friends and family about the Passion and Persistence podcast. I do this to remind you guys that with passion and with persistence, anything is possible. And during this break, I felt bad because I wasn't living up to that persistence part of what I strive to be and show and emulate to the world. And then I remembered persistence doesn't mean there isn't a pause in moving forward. It means that you're never going to stop, but sometimes you have to pause to refuel, right? To keep going on that journey. So don't ever feel bad for that, you guys. You're persistent even if you're taking pauses. So with that being said, here's episode 6 of the Passion and Persistence podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Passion and Persistence podcast. I'm your host, Elaina Mitchell, and today we're in downtown St. Petersburg. It's a beautiful, beautiful day outside, and I have the amazing Dylan here.
Thanks, Elaina. Hello, everyone. My name is Dylan Barrie. I'm with Rock's Moving Company. We're a full-service moving company out of Clearwater, Florida. We service the entire state of Florida. I'm also the chairman of the board of directors for the affiliate business partners of the Pinellas Realtor organization, and we are a group of about 650 members, and we assist real estate agents in Pinellas County and Pasco County, Florida, in different areas of their business. We provide products and services to the real estate agents.
Welcome. That is amazing.
Thanks.
He is a man of many talents for sure. So how's your morning going so far?
It's been great. I got off to a really good start. Got an early start this morning. Been running around and just had a little bit of coffee right before I came in here, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that brings me to a question. Do you have a specific routine in the morning?
Yes,
okay.
I do.
What's that like?
I usually get up about 5:30, have a cup of coffee, start getting going, make my lunch, get everything together, and get out there and get to work.
Cool. So Are you all about routine, or do you sometimes have days where you're not on a set schedule and like go with
it's
the flow?
important to me to have my day laid out and have a list and a checklist of things to do.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
Really important to understand how we as individuals work. So you love that structure. I personally can't deal with the structure, so I'm more of a like go with the flow kind of person, but we have to be conscious of what we are inside rather than trying to be what everyone else is.
Sure.
Right? So have you been reading any books lately?
I have, actually. Well, Audible is the way I read my books, so I don't technically read them.
Yeah.
But, I listen to them. Yeah.
Cool. So what's on your radar right now?
You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. He's a Navy SEAL. Great story, his life story. Real tough guy, and it's a pretty intense story.
That's amazing. Yeah. So do you tend to gravitate towards stories that inspire you, or do you like to learn from their journey, or what's your type of book and why?
Absolutely. Anything that can really inspire me, that I really get into and can feel, and relate to. It gets me pumped up. gets me excited, and I want more. It was a book that was suggested by a friend, and she told me that it really helped her. So I, immediately grabbed it and started listening to it about halfway through. So pretty intense story.
Really?
If you get a chance, check it out. Yeah, it's definitely different.
Very, very cool. Books are really important to kind of step outside of what you're used to and learn from a different perspective, someone's past, whether it be a story or just learning about spirituality, mental state, fitness, all of that. Books are going to teach you all of that. I've been reading a book recently called The 72 Names of God. I think it's really important. Anybody listening should focus on this to understand that the whole picture has to do with a strong mind, body, and soul. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
So the 72 Names of God is kind of explaining the scientific side of understanding the spiritual side of life. And it's really eye-opening. It kind of puts things it takes things out of the spiritual realm and into the proven facts and figure side of what we all feel. So that's my book. You guys should go check that out. And what was your book name again?
You Can't Hold Me Down by David Goggins.
You Can't Hold Me Down. I'm going to go check that out too. So
Can't Hold Me Down. I'm sorry.
Oh, correct. Can't. Yes. So as I was saying about having a healthy mind, body, and soul when you're trying to achieve anything in life, what is your take on that?
Well, that's definitely a balancing act. I don't think I ever really have it perfectly nailed down.
Right.
It's a constant maintenance. Physically, nutrition, fitness, spirituality are all important things to me. And like I said, it's a balancing act. So nutrition is really important. That starts right when I wake up, as well as my spiritual side of my life. I do take time in the morning to think about my day and to pray and to get motivated and get going.
That's awesome.
And also getting into the gym. The gym's important to me. It's a great way to get my head screwed on straight.
Yes.
When I go a length of time without physically exerting myself, I do start to get jumbled up, and I need that release.
That is really interesting how that works, and understanding that and using it to your advantage to clear your mind, to feel happier inside, whatever the case may be. I spoke to you a few weeks ago. I was having my own personal, I guess I would say, what was that, a funk?
Sure.
Where I just had no motivation, did not want to get out of bed in the morning, had no routine going for myself. And I met you for coffee, and we were talking a little bit about that. And I think a lot of it had to do with the way I was taking care of my body, not eating properly, not exercising. It really took a toll on my mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what would you tell somebody who's feeling fatigued, feeling unmotivated? What would be your advice for them?
Are you hydrating? I mean, you can start right there. Are you getting enough water? I mean, our bodies are made up of 72% water. I mean, so it's an important thing that we need to hydrate. Hydration starts at a cellular level. And it's the key to many different things of the way the body works.
Yeah, and growing up, every time I used to say I felt sick, my mom would say, "You need water." And I'd be like, water does not help everything, but it really, truly is a main component of existence. Absolutely. I don't drink a lot of water. Do you? I do.
I do. I drink a lot of water.
That is awesome. I have reminders on my phone to drink water, and it's crazy that we need that. I need that. That's how
You're a busy lady.
I'm stuck in my head so much that I forget I have this body to take care of too. It's crazy how that works. So tell me a little bit more about what motivates you, what inspires you to get up and tackle these goals that you have in life.
Some days it's just a matter of having to.
Yeah.
And then there are other days where I feel inspired and I'm pumped up and ready to go, and I'm ready to make it happen. I get excited about life, but it's a constant maintenance. There are those days where I just have to get up and show up. And showing up has been key in my life to moving to the next level. There have been many days that the most I could do is show up and just do what's in front of me.
Right.
And I think everybody has those days. And then there's days where I feel amazing, and that enthusiasm and energy pours out of me into the people around me, and it's just it makes for a great atmosphere.
Definitely. And you have to have those down days, I think, to be able to recharge and get to that optimum level of energy and inspiration. Without the down times, you wouldn't even know what up was. You know what I mean? So definitely. Very, very cool. So tell me more about Rock's Moving Company.
Okay. Well, we are considered a local moving company. What that means is that we service the entire state of Florida. We've been in business since 1998, so 22 years now. We are a full service company. So what that means is we can come into your home as is. We can pack up everything that you have into boxes and move you anywhere in Florida. We can take you to storage, put you in a portable storage unit, load a truck for you. You know, say if you're gonna leave the state and you want to save money on your move, you can have some of our professional guys come out there, pack up a truck, make sure it's nice and tight, so nothing moves around on you, and get your stuff there safely.
So time is money, right? And your company is all about saving people time. So they'll go in and do the heavy lifting for you, literally the heavy lifting, to save you time, save you a headache, and make sure that you're able to make that move, that transition smoothly. Which is interesting. I'm moving next weekend, so maybe I'll have to call Rock's Moving Company and have you guys come and help me. That would be awesome. So how would somebody get a hold of you?
Well, you can go online. We have a website set up where you can easily fill out an estimate form online, and we'll get back to you within 24 hours with a quote.
That's awesome. So it's really important to network with the right people, and that's what this association is all about. So he is Rock's Moving Company, obviously partnering with realtors in that world is really strategic, and it's important, anybody listening, to understand to make the right network, community, and partnerships with companies that are going to assist your business. Like,
never know where that next lead is going to come from.
Absolutely. And getting out to those events that you guys put on is so key to meeting the right people. Every handshake is an opportunity for a new client or more money to come into your business if you're making that relationship last, by providing them value too, which is what you guys do, right?
Absolutely.
Those classes and all of that. It's not just take, I need your money. It's here's something, what can I get back? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a symbiosis of business.
We're all about building relationships, and getting to know people. And that's the people you want to do business with, is people you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know for me, when I originally got started in this organization, I was told right away, hey, don't expect to get a bunch of referrals and, have people just, offering you business right away. You got to get to know people. And that's been my experience. And, once somebody uses our company and works with us, and then they see that they can trust us, because a lot's involved when you refer somebody,
Absolutely. Yeah. Trust is huge.
Your name is on the line as well.
Yes. And nobody's going to want to spend their hard-earned money with you if they don't trust your services, trust what you have to offer, trust what you're saying, trust your reputation. So building all of that is the foundation to a successful business that's going to be around for the long haul, is making sure you're building that trust with your audience. Things like your website even backs up the trust that somebody's going to have for you. If you're putting in time and effort to outline all the details of your company on your website, it shows your audience, or somebody that stumbles upon your website, that they can trust you. You put in time and effort and energy to outlining all those details, right? So it's super important, you guys, to outline the details to gain that trust with your audience. And so along the way, what would be any obstacles that came up building your business, or even in your personal brand, where you're just like, I don't know if this is for me. Maybe I'm on the wrong track. What if I shouldn't be doing this anymore?
There's been many things like that where I've felt discomfort and fear. And at the same time, I knew that I had to keep pushing forward.
Yes. And why did you have to? What is your why?
Intuition just tells me that this may help me to move to the next level in my life.
There you go. Yeah. So anybody listening, please pay attention to this part. Anytime you get nervous, fearful of a big move or jump, you have to understand that when you push past that fear, you are going to learn so much, everything that you need to learn to get to the level you deserve to be at.
Absolutely.
It's all after fear.
I can't count the things that I do every day or weekly or monthly now in my life that there was a time when I was completely petrified to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even, so he speaks a lot at engagements and events and stuff. And we were just talking before we came on to this podcast about how scary that can be and how impressive it is that he can just get up there and speak this knowledge to a bunch of people staring at him, right? That's what gotta be
Keep
scary.
me up for days just thinking about I had to stand up in front of people for 2 minutes and say who I was.
Really?
And now that's
it just becomes second nature now. But you get a flow going and it becomes your reality. This is who I am now and I'm used to it. So that's really cool.
Absolutely.
I'm really proud of you. I'm very inspired by you.
Appreciate it.
Definitely. So let's see. You were talking a little bit about prayer in the morning. So you're religious.
Well, I'm more spiritual. I wouldn't
like
put a label on anything, but I like to stay open. I can't really nail down exactly what I believe in, but I know there's something bigger than me, and I feel it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I asked you a little bit about your why. Do you have something that you're fighting for, or a legacy that you're trying to chase, or what is your reason for being so persistent in life?
Oh, it's just a necessity at this point. I just feel like there's a big bright future out there, and I'm ready to.
You're ready for the possibility.
Pull in,
pull it in. I think more people need to realize the amount of possibility out there in the world if you do push past that fear.
Yeah, well, I get inspired by the people around me. The people that are the affiliate members, the people I work with at Rock's Moving Company, and watching them in their lives.
It puts a spark in you.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important. If you have a passion inside, to go out there and chase it brightly so that other people can see your light and follow it and be inspired, and it gives them a little spark to their fire inside.
Yeah.
So keep chasing your dream, be persistent, be passionate. It's going to light somebody's fire, definitely along the way. So thank you so much for being here today and talking with us about all this. Yeah. I am so inspired, and I'm going to try to do more events and network more because I was inspired by you and your networking.
I would love to bring you aboard and show you around.
Definitely. Yeah, that would be awesome. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have an awesome week ahead, and I hope you guys have an awesome week ahead as well. Thank you all for always tuning in to the Passion and Persistence podcast. We truly believe that when you have passion and you are persistent, that anything is possible in life. And so we sit here and have these conversations to inspire you and remind you that we're all going through stuff on our journey too, and we're here for you. We're here with you. We are you. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure you hit subscribe. Go ahead and tell your friends and family about it. And we will see you on the next episode of the Passion and Persistence podcast. Bye guys.
Everybody.
Awesome.
You're amazing.
You're amazing.